We all know that there are cheap cars and there are expensive cars, but my favorite type are ones that could be both. So today we're looking at 3 of the same cars, but their models put them at drastically different price points. And the top level is one that I've never even seen before in person. So I am so excited. It's the Mustang S650. And if you're new to this, how it goes is I give you some background on the car, then we look at all of them, starting with the base model. Info, get them out on the road, and then we score them to see which one is the most worth it at their current price point. So let's get into it. This is the most storied American car in history.
Yes, the Mustang turned out to be the kind of car that dreams are made of.
It's also one of the greatest examples of taking a pretty regular car and making a really amazing car. And this one right here is probably the greatest disparity we've had in the show with a factory car, with the base model being around $30,000 and the top spec being over $400,000. This is the S650 Mustang with the GTD. The S650 Mustang is the 7th generation Mustang and is the predecessor to the S550, which was largely controversial because since its inception in 1964, it's the first Mustang ever to be offered standard with an independent rear suspension. You heard that right. The 0304 Terminator Cobra is a car that I have wanted forever, and that had IRS. But for the Mustangs, they were still a solid axle car. But for over 60 years now, the Mustang nameplate has been a consistent production run car, and it has always been available with an optional V8 and always rear-wheel drive. And to this day, they're still doing it. But the Mustang didn't always have the same reputation that it has today. It was considered to be the anti-parent car for the baby boomers. It was the cool car that you went and got. It became an American icon. Then people like Carroll Shelby and Jack Roush came along and started modifying these cars from the factory. This is when the muscle car craze was going absolutely insane, and every automaker was making a car to compete with the Mustang. The 6th and 7th generation Mustangs are largely the same, and they still have the same competitor pool. Although I think the Chargers, Challengers, and Camaros are sort of playing in a different territory now. The ZL1 Camaro is no longer in production, but Mustang's GTD is still out there to dominate the track, playing with the big boys. And now the Mustang comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes, from a 4-cylinder turbo with an automatic transmission that's relegated to just being a rental car, all the way up to an 800 horsepower, 8-speed DCT that is meant to compete with the GT3 RS. What a time to be alive. So now we're gonna drive all of them, and then we're gonna score them and see which one's most worth it at their current price point before these trucks start beeping again and then we can't film. So let's get into it. Our friends at Hagerty have an absolutely insane opportunity. They're hosting a no reserve auction of a private collection in Alabama. There's over 300 cars and all of them are selling with no reserve, meaning whatever they get bid to is what they sell for. That's like an absolutely insane thought for someone who sells cars. I'd imagine that's gonna mean there's gonna be a ton of really sick deals there. The auction already started on October 5th, but there's gonna be a lot more to go. So I put the link in the description below because you're gonna have to act fast. But if there's nothing over there for you, or you miss out on the good deals, Hagerty Marketplace also has auctions and classifieds to help you find your dream car. A lot of their auctions are no reserve, and there's tons of mint cars there. And if you're a seller, there's no fees, meaning you get to keep 100% of the sale price of the car. You could sell nationally, and Hagerty has buyers ready to go. No tire kickers, no nonsense, just good old buying and selling cars. I'm gonna go watch some of these auctions like right now, because I'm hoping to pick up some good deals. Let's get back to this episode. We normally start with the base model car, but this is an enthusiast channel, and the base model Mustang is pretty much relegated for tourists in SoCal.
I told you there'd be beach.
It's a 2.3 liter 4-cylinder that's only available in a 10-speed automatic. It's 3,700 pounds, it makes 300 horsepower. We don't really care about it that much. But the Mustang has always been available with a super low-end model to help you get into the car. At just under $32,000 brand new, you gotta kinda respect it. But today, we've got the GT. This is technically the second level up on the Mustang category, and it has a lot to offer. And if you're like me, you might have lost hope in all new cars. But this thing on paper seems like a complete riot. You get a 5-liter Coyote V8 with 480 horsepower. It comes with either a GetDrag 6-speed or a 10-speed automatic, a factory limited slip differential, and it does 0 to 60 in right under 4 seconds. The only big problem with these cars is that they are quite heavy, weighing in at 3,800 pounds. But the chassis are really far developed. It's got a McPherson style front strut, and since the S550 Mustang, independent rear suspension. And the performance pack comes with Brembo brakes, an electronic drift brake, upgraded sway bars, and factory 19-inch wheels that aren't seen here. And since the GT is a great platform to start with when you're gonna modify your car, I figured we'd bring out the owner and hear what he's done to his.
My name is Sebastian. This is my 2024 GT. Pretty much just cosmetic stuff. As far as like mechanically, I got lowering springs, just got new wheels, RTR front lip, RTR like grille with the lights.
Then what do you got working out back?
So out back, I just have a diffuser, EMP, and then a catback exhaust.
Nice.
Classic Corsa.
So what made you pick the S650 Mustang?
Honestly, I've just always been into like old muscle. So this is kind of like a good like revamp, you know, of that.
Yeah.
Similar to the S550, but I like the new like technology in it. You know, the interior has like the new dash, new screen. So I think it was pretty sick. Best bang for your buck, you know, performance wise.
What'd you pay for it?
So I got it with like 3,000 miles. So I paid like 49.
49 grand for a pretty much 500 horsepower sports car?
Yeah.
It's not bad. Let's see what it's like out on the road. Right. The S650 Mustang GT. This feels like a huge car, but these seats are absolutely amazing. Pretty much buckets, reclinable, quite a nice car in here. The display is pretty cool because it's almost panoramic where it wraps the entire dash. It also has an option where you can put auxiliary gauges on the infotainment, which is cool. You got things like oil pressure, lateral G's, voltage gauge, and you could switch these to plenty of others. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sort of upset with sports cars moving away from clusters and going to screens. I do like this massive 13-inch display here for your infotainment. I think that's really cool, but something about missing the analog cluster is sort of like, not a deal breaker, but it's sort of a bummer. It feels like cheap technology replaced to feel expensive. For a sports car, I feel like it's worth putting the little bit of extra money and care into it and having a cool analog display. But right off the rip, you can feel this car is made for a big American guy. It's very plush. Ergonomically, I love it. These seats are very supportive, but super comfortable. They feel like a Grand Touring seat. Seb optioned to get this car with a 10-speed automatic because for a daily driver here in Southern California, where it's endless traffic, it seems like it'd be a good move. The thing I find really crazy is this electronic handbrake here. So this is not a parking brake. It doesn't have your click lever to get it to hold yourself when parking. It's literally which is insane. I think it's a really cool feature for a factory car to have if you use it the right way. All right, folks, stop going to takeovers and doing dumb rollbacks. But if you wanted to go to the track or build this thing into a little bit of a drift car, pretty cool feature to have. I will say, for a lower trim car, being the GT, a car that you can get for under $50,000 brand new, having Recaro leather seats that feel this good and all these nice soft touch materials makes it feel really premium. It's got a bunch of kind of fake carbon fiber or textured panels on the inside that do look really nice. It's got leather in all the right spots. It's got a nice flat bottom steering wheel. And overall, I think it feels like a pretty premium car. At first, I was a little upset. I couldn't find a single S650 Mustang that was available with the 6-speed manual, which is crazy because we like to all complain about the manual transmission going extinct, but then when we are offered it, no one buys it. My theory with that, newer car manual transmissions just don't feel good. They're not super connected. You're going through the motion, but you're not really feeling the experience. It's very much like driving a video game car. The clutches are automated, the gear shifters are too smooth. It just doesn't feel like the experience you're really chasing. So maybe that's why no one's buying the manuals. While I was a big automatic hater growing up, automatic technology has gotten pretty good. Even if it's not a dual clutch, the new torque converter automatics have super assertive shifts, snappy downshifts, and they put down power really well. And I haven't had much seat time in a new Mustang, so I'm already pretty impressed. This is a pretty fun car for like a nice daily driver street car. It's comfortable, it sounds cool, it has decent pep, I like the transmission. Ergonomically, I think it's really comfortable for a big coupe. I like it. I think for a car for this price point, it's pretty friggin' awesome. It's plenty fast. I love to talk and say that these cars are way too heavy, which they are. They're too heavy. Sports cars shouldn't be nearly 4,000 pounds. But this horsepower range at 3,800 pounds actually feels quite good. It's not lightning fast, but it's definitely quick enough to get yourself in trouble. And it definitely scratches the itch of having a performance car on the street. Little second gear hit. This thing rips. It would absolutely smoke my 360 and maybe even the GT3 RS, but new cars are all fast and this Coyote motor is great. It's also an amazing platform if you want to build a car because we all know that the Coyote can make 1,000 horsepower pretty easily, whether you're strapping on a big Whipple blower or you're going to turbo it. So these are sick. And I think if you wanted a great base for a fun car that you can just get in and drive and have something pretty cool, or a great platform to build an absolute ripper of a race car, a good place to start. And for our second tier of Mustang, we have the Darkhorse. We got to learn a little bit about this car when we did a lap around the Nürburgring with Misha, but that car is pretty modified, so we're gonna dive into a more stock one. This is the factory track-focused version of the S650 Mustang, and it's what filled the void for cars like the Mach 1 and the Shelby. It added an extra 20 horsepower and somehow 100 more pounds and $20,000 to the sticker price. So let's find out why. Some of the major improvements happened to the drivetrain. So first, the motor is the same 5-liter Coyote V8, except for this one has some tweaks and it's bumped up to 500 horsepower. But the transmission is what really changed the game here. You could still get it with an optional 10-speed automatic, but the manual is where the big improvement happened. They got rid of the Getrag and they put a Tremec 6-speed in it, which is much stronger and allows you for things like no lift shifting. The GT and the Darkhorse are both optioned with a factory limited slip differential. Because this car makes 20 more horsepower and has a different gear ratio, it does 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, which is impressive because the car is actually heavier. And I'm just a guy who makes videos on the internet, so I know essentially nothing, but I don't actually understand why you would make the more performance car more heavy. Someone explain. And other track focus mods comes with camber plates from the factory, magnetic dampers, and a more aggressive front splitter. This is supposed to be the car that you could take from the factory out on the racetrack and not have to do any modifications from over the GT. It has massive 15.3-inch Brembo front brakes that have the shortest stopping distance recorded by Motor Trend, which is insane. But I have one huge gripe with them. It has brake-by-wire. That means that your foot on the brake pedal has no connection to the mechanics of the brakes. So gone are the feel of understanding your brake master cylinder size and your brake piston size. Now you just have a video game brake telling something to apply brake pressure. I don't know if I like this. I haven't driven many cars with it, so we're gonna see how this actually feels. Will I be convinced? I don't know. So before we get it out on the road, we gotta meet the owner, see what she uses this car for, and then we'll see what it's like.
Hi, my name's Angel. This is my 2024 Darkhorse. It's just a daily.
How long have you had it?
2 years as of last month.
Wow, okay. And you've managed to keep it, what looks like 100% stock.
Yes.
And this is 100% daily, no other car.
I also have a G82.
Okay. What made you pick this car?
So this is actually my 4th Mustang. I'm a Ford girl for sure. I just recently got the M4 actually, but this is like my baby.
For its category, price-wise, I don't think there's much that could compare to this. You get a 500 horsepower V8, a 10-speed automatic, pretty comfortable bucket seats in a car that you could drive every day.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna take this thing out on the road and I wanna see, is this thing worth the $20,000 price increase from the GT? All right, so we're in the Darkhorse, and I am just slightly confused here. The Darkhorse now has base Mustang seats. The GT we were in obviously had the track performance package, which included the Recaro buckets, but now in a higher trim car, we have a lower trim interior, which is a really interesting thing considering the price point delta here. Other than the seats, this is 100% the same car. Why the Darkhorse? The Darkhorse is a limited run production car. So in 2024, they only made 4,000 of these, which is a lot, but for Mustang collectors and people with future values, the Darkhorse will probably hold its value quite a bit better. It also has forged internals, a slightly different front fascia, and reworked suspension. The suspension components are something that I struggle with when it comes to spending a ton of money on, because if you're really gonna hardcore track your car, I think that you're gonna be upgrading them anyways. These cars are all so loud. Going into it, I think that if you were going to buy a Darkhorse and you wanted a manual transmission, the premium price is probably gonna be worth it because it's gonna come equipped with a Tremec transmission that you could beat the ever-living hell out of. However, with having the automatic, struggling to find the reasons why you would spend more money other than having a collectible car or something that will resell better in the future. But of course, it makes 20 more horsepower. Other things the Darkhorse has is transmission and differential coolers factory, and mag ride suspension that adjusts every 10 milliseconds. So this car does have a lot of additional tech for track focus work, especially for the people who don't want to modify or build a track car and just want something that's sick right out of the box. I know it's only 20 more horsepower, but this thing's pretty fast. The brake pedal, something I kind of talked a lot of shit on before and I was super skeptical in. It feels okay. I mean, it feels about as connected as you do with the rest of the car. What I mean by that is the car is pretty soft, it's pretty reserved, it's very comfortable, it's meant to kind of be compliant and get rid of a lot of that NVH. So you don't have that mechanical brake feel, but you also don't have hydraulic power steering or any of the other things that we love to have. Once you get past that initial touch point on them, they brake like a normal power assisted brake, but the initial touch on the brake is very, very grabby, and I wonder if that's a little bit because of the nature of it being an electronically assisted pedal. However, the next car is something that I am super excited to see. I've never seen one in the wild. Not many people have even driven these things yet. It is the most mechanically advanced Mustang ever built by Ford. Let's go check it out. And then we're here, the top dog, the Mustang GTD. This is an insane example of a Mustang. The CEO at Ford, Jim Farley, had one goal, which was to take down the GT2 RS. So what they did was teamed up with Multimatic in Canada to build what is the gnarliest Mustang ever built. While this car starts out as a normal Mustang, there's not a lot of Mustang left to it. When this car goes to Multimatic in Canada, pretty much they rewrite the entire playbook for the Mustang. So much so that I don't know if they're trying to develop the craziest race car or really challenge automotive journalists to learn all of this information, because it's overwhelming how much they changed. Obviously, the exterior of the car has pretty much every panel changed from the top down, starting with a carbon fiber roof, a carbon fiber hood, a carbon fiber no longer trunk lid because there's not a trunk. Instead, we're housing the transmission and the differential coolers. And then obviously the most glaring additions to the bodywork are the GT3 style vented front fenders and carbon fiber rear quarter panels with ducting in it. But that's just the outside of the car. The rest of what is underneath that is what really makes it insane. Chassis improvements include cutting out the rear floor to attach a rear-mounted gearbox and custom subframe. New rear sheet metal with a massive transmission cooler. The entire rear of the car is basically cut out and replaced. Then the frame rails are drilled and reinforced to convert the front suspension to dual wishbone. The 815 horsepower, 5.2 liter Predator V8 isn't even the coolest part of the car. It was basically an exercise for the engineers to see how far they could push the bones of the Mustang. The Nürburgring lap times were just a bonus. The transmission in this car not only is mounted in the back like a transaxle, but gone is the 10-speed automatic and the manual transmission. It's replaced with an 8-speed dual clutch. We're competing with the GT3 RS here, so, you know, you need some really lightning fast shifts. The engine itself, though, is insane. 815 horsepower, 664 foot-pounds of torque out of a 5.2-liter supercharged V8. The GTD suspension geometry was completely revamped with custom dual wishbone front suspension and pushrod rear suspension. The bodywork also allows for insanely huge tires with a 325 up front and a 345 out back. The trunk was completely deleted and instead made way for this massive duct that feeds a transmission cooler that's the size of a radiator. And up here, much like the GT3 RS, we have a chassis-mounted wing that has a drag reduction system built into it. This is one of the coolest new cars that has been made. But I have to ask, why the hell is it over 500 pounds heavier than the base model? Look at the GT3 RS, this is what you're going up against. That car is 120 pounds lighter than the base, but yet Ford built this amazing, incredible, carbon-clad race car that weighs 4,000 pounds? I don't know, let's grab the owner and talk to him. I know of two guys who have GTDs in Southern California. One is Jay Leno. The other one is Bo Bachman, who owns all of the Galpin dealerships in the world. And then there's this guy. Who actually reached out and offered to make a video with this car. So dude, thank you so much.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Who are you? What'd you bring here?
I'm Michael.
No, who are you? Why do you have this?
Oh, that's...
Jay Leno and Bo Bachman have one. Why do you have one?
Hide my face. It's a family collection that started with my dad 25 years ago. And
yeah, you have a bunch of Mustangs.
Through all the Mustangs that we've had, it's given us the opportunity to own the pinnacle of it. And I mean,
nice.
How could you say no when someone comes out and says, hey, we're making a Mustang to take on a Porsche?
So did Ford come to you guys and offer the car? Or how does that work?
Invited us out to the launch party and pretty much said that anyone who got out there had the opportunity to get one.
Wow,
yeah, I mean,
nice.
it was pretty cool.
And this is a really special car. Currently, you're looking at a $380,000 Mustang.
And the carbon starts at 380 and then like performance pack and all this.
Oh, so they have levels to the GTD.
Yeah.
See, because when you're a peasant like myself and you go on the website, you can't spec out a GTD. It's not on the website. What packages, what's different about this car than a base GTD?
There's different levels at the beginning between like a base, a carbon, and then a kind of a heritage edition that they're coming out with, right?
Yeah.
So the carbon gets you exposed carbon hood, roof, deck lid.
Which also on the black is really like beautiful because it's super subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a crazy enough car as it is. We didn't need to add a bunch of color to it.
Yeah.
But then the packages on top of that are things like performance package. That gets you the active aero on the wing.
Oh, so there is a GTD that's available without active aero.
Yeah.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah, and it gets you some weird active flaps underneath the car that you'll never even know exist. And then there's just interior packages. That's the rest of it.
Okay, and are these the sportiest seats you can get for the car? Or do they offer like a more lightweight bucket seat?
That's it. There's two options. I think pretty much the options are just between how it's stitched, either between bars or they have some kind of like gradient, little dot pattern.
Yeah. Well, I love the way you spec this car. I think it's super cool. Yeah. I'm really excited to go inside of it. I've never even seen one of these in person. I think it's absolutely incredible. I wish we could take it out on a track or a back road, but we'll have to settle for driving around.
We could get there.
Compton, California. Oh boy. The Mustang GTD. First thing you notice is the shifter and the parking brake. They've simplified the center console and now replaced it with a dial. I don't know how I feel about that.
Not good.
No?
No.
But the rest of the interior feels pretty similar to a GT or the Darkhorse. You have the same 12 and 13-inch displays, the same kind of carbon fiber look textured trim, and even really similar seats and steering wheel. It's a very familiar feeling if you were a Mustang guy.
Yep.
And to keep you humble, you get the same key. American auto manufacturers always find a good way to ground you in that stuff.
It's true.
So what's your immediate feedback on this car as someone who has now put a couple hundred miles on it and got to drive it and experience it?
In everyday driving, normal mode, all that kind of stuff, it feels like a normal Mustang.
Which is good.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, it's nice to be comfortable, right? You get your CarPlay, your air conditioning, everything like that. Sometimes, you know, you wish that it had a little bit more experience to it when you're just driving around.
Like the NVH. It's what we talk about a lot, is in new cars, when you're paying this premium for a car, manufacturers don't want to make something feel like a crappy, ratty track car.
Exactly.
You know, we did a video with the new GT3 RS, and it's an incredible car. It's so much faster than my GT3 RS, but my car has a bit more of that soul that you're talking about. Like, it has a lot more feeling, but it's also like really rough and annoying on the street. And a lot of times I don't want to sit in traffic in it because of that.
Yep.
Whereas this car would probably dominate an older Mustang with more feeling on track, but also be very, very comfortable while on the road. It's got parking sensors and stuff, cameras, and every sort of mode you can get yourself into.
Yep, boring mode, sport mode, everything in between.
In tight situations like that construction zone we were just in, you feel how wide this car is. The track width is absolutely massive compared to an already big base model Mustang. It retains a lot of what makes the normal cars drivable. Seating position, visibility, getting in and out of it makes the car feel really practical. Whereas if you're driving Lamborghinis, Ferraris, anything with like a flip door, it becomes kind of a task, and like everything's a blind spot, and it's really difficult to kind of maneuver around regular life with.
You kind of forget, right? So I mean, you're like, oh, I'm just in a Mustang driving down the street doing nothing, and then all of a sudden you get like a little close to something and you're like, oh crap.
Well, I don't know. You
way.
cannot see past the dual plane, massive carbon fiber wing. But the dual element of it actually works out great ergonomically because you could see right through it. So you could see the cars behind you, which is great.
And they have it set at like 35 miles an hour. So in normal traffic, like we're doing now, when we get low enough, it'll close back down.
I just closed
So
on
it's
us.
another like distraction in the back of the car because you're like, oh, I'm getting close to 35. I want to kind of see the wing open in the back.
Yeah, as long as you don't glance down and look at the pushrod suspension in the back seat.
There you go.
Yep, that's fast. I was saying this in the base car. 6-speed manual is great, and it'll forever be something we love. But when it comes to a newer car where the 6-speed is going to be very, very soft, you're paired next to a brake pedal that's not connected to the brakes, besides they're an electronic servo. Dual clutch. Man, like those upshifts sound sick.
There's like a little pop or like a shotgun blast on the upshift between.
Dude, it's great. And it's super smooth, it's lightning fast. I think the dual clutch really does suit these like newer cars that are such high horsepower. Because the traction controls are so sophisticated and they're working so hard to put that traction to the ground, if you put barbarian move in between of slamming it into gear, it's gonna have a more difficult time managing that traction. Also, you know, these cars come with a titanium Akrapovic exhaust, which are pretty known for being very streetable, very quiet, but open up and provide some noise. So it's crazy being in this car, and it's like, dude, we're just having a regular conversation.
You're not yelling, right? I mean, you're like, there's no road noise. So if you hit bottom left button on the left side of the steering wheel, and we can make it even louder. There you go. Now we're in loud mode.
Oh yeah. Holy hell. Woo! Man, this thing is fast. Just new cars do a really good job at hiding speed because they're so smooth.
That's exactly it. It's almost kind of hard to enjoy it, right? Because on the street or anything like this in LA traffic, it's like,
It is true, although the dual clutch I think helps you kind of get around a little bit of that because you can just kind of pound through gears really fast and be done with it. Whereas, you know, in a manual, you might have to string it out a bit higher.
So what do you think, this or a new GT3?
It's tough. I'm a big Porsche fanboy. We all know that. I like the new GT3 RS. I would say a big advantage of the GTD is that it's far less common. Like, they've so far made 4,700 992 GT3 RSs. That's an incredible amount of cars. And on top of that, I would say 95% of them are in SoCal. So like, there's, you know, it feels very abundant. So I think the GTD feels a bit more unique. I think they're both really cool. They tickle all the same senses, you know, the big crazy aero, the crazy wide fenders, the vented everything, the active aero. Like, it looks like a really special car that even if you don't know cars, you're like, that thing's something.
Yeah, that's something.
So I don't know. I couldn't quite answer.
I don't know. I love the Ford so much, but I mean, the GT3 and Porsche interiors, I mean, they just do an amazing job at the fit and finish. And this is great, but I mean, it's a Mustang.
It is time to put some numbers behind the emotions, behind the cars. And if you haven't watched this before, I break it into 5 different categories. First one is cool. How cool is it if you pull up to a car meet, if you see it on track, or generally if you just see it rolling down the road? The second one is fun. How fun is it to drive? How much emotion does it have? Not just how fast it is, how fun is it to drive? Number 3 is practicality. Can you drive this car every day, or as it gets better, does it get worse? Number 4 is price. And I'm talking about money in today's market. How much car are you getting for the dollar? Number 5 is something I tell you to never do because it's dumb, is investment. And I'm not talking about buying a car to sell it. I'm talking about if you buy this car today at current market value, do I think that it's gonna hold some value, or is it gonna plummet? Is it a safe place to keep your money, or is this thing just gonna completely tank? Do I think it's gonna skyrocket in value in the future? So that's what I'm calling investment. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so first up, we have the Mustang GT. So for the first category, we have cool. I'm giving it a 3. A Mustang is cool, but nobody's breaking their neck to look at a Mustang GT drive down the block. All right, number 2 is fun, and I'm gonna give it a 5. It's great, it's a good car, it is fun, it's just nothing sensational. Number 3, practicality, I'm giving it a 7.5. It's relatively smooth and easy, it's got a lot of storage space, and it does pretty good on gas. Price, this is a big one, I'm gonna give it an 8. I think for $40,000, you get a lot of car for your money. 400 horsepower, V8, rear-wheel drive, optional 6-speed, limited slip differential, tons of aftermarket. I think it's a good deal. But on the other hand, investment-wise, I'm gonna give it a 3 because they made a lot of these cars, and I don't think that they're anything super special. Also, there's a lot of really nice tech on the inside now, but that's the first stuff that gets dated, so it's getting a 3. Now it comes to the Darkhorse. This is where I think I'll get roasted because I'm just not educated enough in general, but on what the Darkhorse really is supposed to be. For cool, I'm giving it a 4 because it is a bit cooler than the standard GT, and if you know what you're looking at, I think it feels a little bit more special, plus it has some racing provenance behind it. Fun, I'm also going with a 5 because I didn't feel any notable difference in the car between that and the GT. Practical is also going to be a 7.5 because I didn't see any change there. Price, this is gonna be the weird one. I'm gonna give it a 6. It's taken a little bit of a hit because it's $20,000 more for a lot of stuff that you can do on your own to make your car just as good. But if you're looking to make a ton of power and you want those forged internals, or you want the 6-speed variation with the Tremec, then I start thinking that maybe it is sort of a good deal because those parts are very expensive and you want them and you don't want to be pulling your car apart. So if you're getting a manual and you want the forged internals, good car. If you're getting the automatic and you're just kind of driving it around, I don't know. I'm saying the price has to take a hit. But on the investment side, I do think I give it a bump up and I give it a 5 because they only made 4,000 of them. It's a little bit more special. Collectors will obviously have a penchant for that in the future. So it's got to get bumped up just a bit. Now onto the GTD. For cool, I'm giving it a 9. I mean, look at this thing. It is insane on the road. Fun, this is a tough one because I only got to drive it on the street, but I do think you get a really good feel of what a car is like on the road, and you sort of know how it'll be on track. I know it's gonna have a tremendous amount of grip. I know it's gonna be really fast. I know it's gonna be really assertive, but you get all the emotion and stuff that you know is gonna be there. So I'm giving it an 8. It's amazing. It's super fast. It's fun. It sounds good. It has great shifts. Everything about it is really cool, but it is still a little bit numb. It's a new car. It's got brake-by-wire. It's got, electric power steering. It's very soft and easy to be in, which sort of takes away from that fun. Practicality, this has to take a hit. I mean, the thing no longer has a trunk. It doesn't have a back seat, and it costs $400,000. So I'm giving it a 4. Interior-wise and drivability-wise, it remains exactly the same as a normal Mustang. So it is a very usable supercar. Price, This is a tough one because I think it's a really cool, really special car. It's very unique, it's rowdy, it's interesting to look at, but it's a $400,000 Mustang, so I'm giving it a 5. However, on the investment side, this has to be the last of its kind. I can't imagine in the future we're gonna be building bigger, badder, faster, cooler, non-electric, non-hybrid V8 Mustangs like this. It's incredible that Ford did this. So I'm giving it a 9. I think this will be a car that never goes down in value. If you think you're gonna get one for under 100 grand one day, I don't think so. But this is a really rad car that Ford made. I'm thankful that they're still doing stuff like this. Well, thanks everyone for watching. I appreciate your support. Next week, we got a new project coming out, so make sure to stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. But for now, I'm gonna go look at GTD videos.